Alright, we're rolling. Hopefully.
Nice.
If it cuts out, I'll stop you because yeah, my battery's on its last legs, but yeah, rolling.
Nice, the Ubunifu space are here at the Weekender, Afrobeats Weekender, and I actually want you to introduce yourself, like, yeah, let them know who you are, because you're doing a lot.
Okay. I'm Mika Abraham, I'm a journalist at MTV, and I founded, or I'm founder of a company called Afro District, which is also an article on MTV. I also have an R&B platform called CRMB, alongside my two other co-workers. And yeah, I call myself a brand ambassador, one of the brand ambassador for Afro music. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot for me sometimes. I literally don't know what to say because I can't put it into a context of what exactly it is that I do. All I say is I'm just really passionate about a genre and I just want the genre to win. So whatever I can do, I will do to push it. If you get what I mean. So yeah.
And what you tell the people what brings you to the Afrobeat Weekender?
So I'm here, this is my first time as well, so it's also an experience. I hosted the Afro Music Conference, which was really amazing. We filmed it, and we had people in the panel, amazing people from like different labels. We had someone from Universal Music from Nigeria. Nice. We had DJs, we had just Afro music connoisseurs were on the panel, and just to get people's questions about the scene, the industry, about the music, and questions that we wanted to know, questions that had never been answered. It's almost like it's almost like collecting a complaint bank. Nice. So we know how to go forward in the scene, what to do and how we can improve it. So yeah, that's what I did today.
And because obviously you work for quite a mainstream kind of film institution, so how are they in terms of their response to Afrobeats, in terms of the business side of it, and are they open to these new sounds? And where are we currently in the UK in terms of the Afrobeats movement?
Well, MTV are for it. I can say that now, because if they weren't, they wouldn't have given me the platform to write about it. But it's something where they're seeing that how, you know, with the influences of so many music, and we have, you know, Afro trap with the likes of Kojo Funds and J Hus and Abracadabra, like they're putting Afro music on a certain platform for more national, wider scale recognition. So since they're seeing that, and right now MTV is always about going with the generation, going with the culture. Right now that's what's going in, and they want to be a part of that. They want to help push that. So yeah, they're so open to it. For the simple fact they give me that format to say, create your own column, your own article, and write what you want to write about this genre that you're so passionate about.
And where did the passion start from?
It's so weird because I started off when I was 15, and I was on a radio station called Rinse FM. Now, if you're from East London, then you know Rinse FM back in the day before it was even licensed. And it was a grime-based station, so it wasn't so much like, it was either grime, dubstep, jungle, heavy. And I did a Grammy breakfast show with another DJ called Scratcher, and I was introduced to so many different sounds. But it wasn't until I went to Ghana. So I finished radio, did radio for 6 years, went to Ghana. I was bored, and I wanted to go work on a radio station. So I was there on holiday working, and that's when I discovered my love for African music. Now I'm African myself, so the passion has always been there, but the term of helping Africa and my passion being music, what can I do to round it up and make it whole? So that was it for me. Asking them questions about their industry, why doesn't this work, why doesn't this work? And then the passion just came from there. So I always had an opinion about what I thought could elevate in the scene, who I thought was good, who I thought was that. And then what I realised was people started asking me who were the latest people. Like, I randomly became a tastemaker and I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
So yeah, when I was having a meeting with John from Viva, he said that don't do anything for money. Make sure there's passion behind it. And I remember when I started interning, they said to me that money can take away your passion for something that you love, because you can get so caught up in the fact of, I'm making money from it. If you can't do what you're doing for free for like 2 years or more, then I understand everyone's going to eat, but there's a sort of passion that you have to do something for free. There's certain times where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to pay my bills, and I have to go and I'm hosting a show and they're not paying me, but I love what I do, man. I'm gonna go and do it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And people will not understand. They won't understand why you love this thing so much. They don't understand why you're literally breaking your back just to go and put money in your Oyster card just to go to these things. But they don't see it, but you do. That's why I always say that everyone's dreams are bigger than they know. If I limit myself, if I say I want to live in a penthouse, what makes you think that I can't say God can't provide me with a mansion? Do you know what I mean? Faith is so important to me because that's the thing that gives me, whenever I'm feeling some sort of kind of stress, I have to put it in there thinking, you know what, it's bigger than me. I may not get it now, I may not understand why I'm at MTV, I may not understand why Sony's on my mind 24/7, I don't know why I met you guys, I don't know why I'm here, but I know there's a purpose to it. Do you know what I mean? Whoever's watching, I don't know the reason why they're watching, but I hope whatever I say penetrates them and just makes them want to push and understand that no matter how hard it is, that if you keep persevering and you keep being consistent, even if your bank account is at -500, that bank account is going to go back to the 0, it's going to go back to 500, and it's going to go to 1,000, it's going to go and it's going to go. But you can only do that with perseverance, passion and consistency. Because if you don't have that passion for it, I'm telling you, once your bank account starts dropping because of the money you're investing, you're not going to want to do it anymore. You know, so yeah,
passion.
It's passion.
Yeah.
It's passion. No matter what you do, just have passion for it. Don't do it for the money. Do it for passion. You can sit there and do stuff for free and know, okay, I'm doing it for free because I love what I do. I love talking about Afrobeats because I see how my country is prospering because of the music that we're making. I want to be that person. I always say that maybe when I'm in my 30s, late 30s, I want to be a minister of creative arts in Ghana.
Wow, that'd be cool.
But just discussing then, I could see the passion come out about how you've kind of remembered being, and you still are perhaps on your, as I am definitely, on your journey of through music, reaffirming the African in you.
Yeah.
And with events such as the Afrobeat Weekender, the music coming out, the Afrobeat fusion, as you mentioned, artists like J Hus and Abracadabra getting national recognition. If we look at everything on a macro level, what do you think is happening in our times?
Right now, it's a good time for Afro music. As we went to the comedy show, you can clearly see that how our music is influenced in so many different ways.
Yeah.
I don't think the people back then will think that Afro music will be in the position that it is now, because it's come in such a place where we have people like Drake co-signing the genre, you know, doing songs with Wizkid, David. So many different people want to collaborate with African artists. Before that wasn't a thing, you know. We used to play African music in school and they'd be like, oh, turn that on, no one understands it. You know, even to play it in the clubs, it was such a thing of like, oh, we had 1-2 songs, and then, you know, it stops, that's it. So you got to enjoy it for 2.5 seconds and everything else stops. But to see it now, progressing, and the younger generation are taking their influence from them African backgrounds and where they're also from as well, so they have that African sound but that grittiness to it, and that's what combines and makes it what it is today. So just to see that is a proud moment for me, because I can only imagine it's at baby level right now, so we wouldn't have to be having seminars about it anymore. We would be talking about what it's done and how else we can add to it and everything else like that, and how we can make more money from it. Because I think the one thing that's lacking in the scene, and what I'm trying to help, is install the system of payment and making revenue from this industry. Because if we can make money from grime, why can't we make money from Afrobeats? You know, if we're heavily influencing other genres, why can't we make money from those heavy influences? You know,
what are the barriers? What are the barriers you think?
And also, in addition to that, of those slightly different industries like grime in the UK, what are the differences in the infrastructure that allow them to be profitable or make more revenue, so to speak, than Afrobeat at the minute?
If we're gonna break it down, let's say grime pop. They have label backing. You have, let's say, the people that are really pushing it. You have Skepta, you have Stormzy. They're doing all these shows, and right now grime is, as they say, a culture. So you have a lot of white kids who are really following this thing. Now, grime before wasn't popular. It took grime. It wasn't even called. Do you know what I mean? Grime before wasn't. It took 10 years for people to start making proper money from grime. It's becoming a thing of, it's down to the fashion, it's down to the culture of it, it's down to the grittiness of it. Everybody wants to be like Skepta and Stormzy and so many different people. Even though a lot of people before them have paved the way, like Wiley and Dizzy, they're taking it to a different level because it's a different generation. And there's a system in place where labels are now seeing that and they want to be a part of that. What's happening with the Afrobeats is the system is not exactly there.
Right. Okay.
So it's so much, it could be to the point where we can be doing a show, or we could be making money. No, in fact, we could be making music.
Yeah.
We won't go and straight away put it on iTunes. We give it away for free.
Right.
That's one payment gone. The system of even knowing about PRS and your royalties, that's gone. Knowing that, you know, it's not about just giving your producer a cut and then leaving it as that, but knowing that your producer always has 50% of your royalties too. It's a simple understanding of the music business and music knowledge, and that's all it is. I feel like if we have that and we have structure with it and good branding and good marketing, African music will be further than it is today. You know, there's a sort of system where labels are trying to understand it, but they don't understand. So right now they want to pick at it, but it's like, oh, but how do we market it? And then labels can also pick at it and not know how to market them. How do we do it? So as I said, like J Hus right now, he released his album. That was a good way for them to do it as well, because they've noticed there's a demographic that he's tapping into, whereas an artist from Ghana can't come over here and have that same graphic. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
So trying to build that international crossover between Africa and the Western world and different brands associated with that. So the other day I was having a conversation with the head of Vivo of Europe, and I was discussing about how can we build a bridge between Africa and Vivo. What can we do so when artists have videos, it doesn't have to be a case of they're signed to labels in order for their music to go into Vivo. Why can't they just have a system where they screen it, they filter it, and then they select who they feel that should have Vivo? Do you know what I mean? So, and it would make sense because Africa, not everyone has access to SoundCloud like that, but they're very visual.
Spotify.
It's on Spotify, exactly.
Africa,
So having that visual sort of thing as well, it's amazing, and it showcases the culture of Africa. I always say, you can say to them, this is what I am, this is who I am, this is how I'm meant to be branded and marketed, that's it. So, but what labels are not doing is they can have that, but they're not putting the right people in place too. So you can sign out and say you're an Afro artist now, and you're assigned to a label where they know nothing about Afro music, but they know they're just going to trust you and say make the music, and we'll just push it out. But your music is not reaching the people that you want it to reach. Do you understand? Because there's no one in place who understands where you're trying to go and what field you're in. So they're just pushing it the way that they normally do it. The system just, okay, we're going to put it here, we're going to put it here. But you yourself, you're like, I don't really want to do this. I don't reach out to this crowd. Do you understand? But if there were people in place in labels like A&Rs or product managers or PRs and so many different people within the industry or the record label that knew exactly what it is that you were trying to do, it will be easier for your sound to go out and be received the way that you want it to be received. So yeah.
You were talking about how a lot of artists don't know about the little things such as contracts and PRS. What are like the top 5 little things in your opinion that every artist just needs to know about?
You need to know, music business, music knowledge is so important. If you're gonna make a music, know about contracts, know about royalties, how you can get your royalties internationally. If your music is getting played in London, you're all the way in Nigeria or Ghana, how can you accumulate and how can you get back that money? Knowing about, choose the right team. Your team is so important. If you have the wrong team, the strongest artists are the ones that have the strongest teams. And you'll be so funny that the teams are so small because they trust them and they know exactly what they're doing. Don't go and get your brethren who's just literally like, I went to university, I studied music, this and this and this. It's cool, it's an experience, but it's not work experience. This is my livelihood. So we need to take that into consideration. Also, know the sound that you're creating. How can I reach out to that? I always say, some artists, it's so good to be so proud of your work. I love that, like, oh, I'm sick, I'm dope. But sometimes listen to your music as if you're the consumer, because you can't send it out to radio DJs and get upset when the radio DJs will play it, because as a radio DJ, I'm not going to play music that I don't relate to. I always give music like 1 minute to entertain me. If it doesn't do that within the 1 minute, then it's not going to entertain the person that's listening to it. Number 4, branding and marketing. Branding and marketing, okay? Know what your brand is, market yourself correctly. Don't try and be something that you're not to appeal to others. If that's not who you are, don't do it. You know, be proud of who you are, get the right team to help you with your branding and marketing. Understand those 2 main important things. Branding and marketing could be something that could make or break you basically. You know, and number 5 is just support the team, support people around you as well, support the other artists. It's not a crabs in the barrel sort of thing. It's Africa is all about unity. That's the word. Unity. We're all about unity. There's so many different tribes, so many different cultures in Africa. But when the one thing that I love about African music, or just Africa in general, is that you may not understand what we're saying, but you feel it. You know,
sure.
A person who could be Chinese or from Spain or whatever, they may not understand what you're saying. You could be speaking in Yoruba, may not understand what they're saying, but the fact is they feel the passion, they feel the rhythm. I always say that the rhythm of African music is like electric through your veins. You know, it just takes over you. So unless it's very moving, I don't like, if you ever go into South Africa and hear choirs sings, like it moves you to the point of tears. You don't understand what they're saying, but there's a power and there's a love, there's a passion in African music that the world needs to hear. Africa is, if I could say Africa was one word, I would say it's love. We go through what we've gone through. We're fighting corruption. We're fighting all these different things, but people can never break Africa. You know, our culture is still there. Our arts are still there. Our music is still there. Our fashion is highly influential in the fashion industry, and we're doing so much. But it's a shame that we don't have that same renewal of mind. So we need to start renewing our mind and getting with it and letting people see us so that we can win. You know, and if people are not allowing you to break certain doors, I always say, if I want to change something and you're saying, well, you can't change them, okay, cool, I'll create an alternative. I'll be your competition. So when I said to you, let me in, and you said no, then don't blame me for going to create my own. Do you know what I mean? You can't fault me for that. Because if I want to see people win, I have a passion for this. Certain times I can do this for free. I will do this for free because it's not something that I just want to do for the hype of it. There's something in me that feels like I need to help the scene in such a way. I don't know where it's taking me. Even the way I even got MTV, I don't know where it's taking me, but I'm just enjoying this journey and seeing something like Afrobeat Weekender. This could be the Afrobeat Glastonbury.
Oh my god!
Do you know what I mean?
That's the exact same quote that Jeff used.
This could be Afro. I would love to call Afrobeats is everything. Do you know? So bringing people, we want to have more diversity. We want people. The more we are understood, the more that people can understand, then the more easily we can be related to. You know. So that's just what
I'm just one question I have, particularly about, you know, your journey. You say you don't know how it's going to go, but this is the journey that you're going to take.
Yeah.
How is it being a female in these spaces, and how is there any barriers, and what are the advantages?
I'll start off by saying that I've always been the youngest and the only girl in everything that I've done. So from radio, I was the only girl and the youngest. Going into different things, the only girl and the youngest. With the Afrobeat scene now, it was completely different because before I even entered officially, I knew some of the artists, I was familiar with the people in there. But there's a respect level. Now, I always say that when I go to do interviews or when I go and do stuff, there's a certain way that I want to be perceived. I'm not going to go out there with my chest out, and I'm being so sincere, I'm not going to go out there with my chest out, I'm not going to go out there trying to seduce, or because there's a level of respect that I want to give them. There's a level of respect that I want to receive for myself. So being a female, and we shouldn't have to do that as female. We shouldn't have to be like, oh my gosh, like, do you know what I mean? But it's the world that we live in.
Yeah.
People can perceive you any type of way. I don't want to be seen as a groupie. I don't want to be seen as a person who's just trying to latch onto things and just trying to be the person in the backstage room. I have a job to do. I will do my job. If they want me to say, let's chat, and they're interested in what we're talking about and we'll have more conversation, then we can do that. If not, pack your load and you go home, you do what you need to do. Do you know what I mean? So that they can see that she's very professional, she don't play. That's the thing. She's very professional and she doesn't play. So, and they understand that, especially as a female. We don't like to cooperate with each other. We always feel like there can only be one female at the top. But there's enough room for everybody. Everybody has a different part to play in this scene, if you get what I mean. Everyone has a different part to play. There could be someone who's doing PR. There's someone that could be a publicist. There's someone that could be doing what I'm doing. There's enough room. I would love there to be more female MTV writers. If I can bring people on board, I definitely will, hands down, do that. So I don't have any sort of categories of what you should be, but as a female we need to stand and rise, because if we're pushing Afrobeat artists and these are the men, you need queens to push the kings, right? Behind every successful man there is a king, there's a queen. So I feel like the more that we rise, the more that the kings will rise, the more the scene will rise. Yeah.
And just lastly, who would you say your top 3 Afrobeat artists are at the moment, and why?
Cool. Okay, the first one I can definitely say is Shatawale.
Okay.
He just SM for life. Shatawale. SM for life. No, he's just. There's something. This is consistency. In fact, can I add that to the top 5? That could be a bonus. Consistency. If you're not consistent, people will get bored of you. It is key to life. Consistency is key to life. The more I see you, the more I get used to you. The more I hear you, the more I want to know more about you. Consistency is key. And he's just Burna Boy. I love Burna Boy. I have a soft spot.
Who doesn't love Burna Boy?
I really do have a soft spot for Burna Boy. And thirdly, thirdly, I'm gonna pick a woman.
Ooh.
Now, right now, she's new to everybody. I literally just posted her off my Instagram. Her name is Neza. She is she's a Canadian. From Rwanda, but brought up in Congolese, brought up in Congo. Brought up in Congo, but she is on the rise, and she's signed to an artist called MC Galaxy's label, and she is vibey, wavy. She's just so cool. She has a song called Uranika, forgive me, forgive me, but yeah, and it's so amazing. It has that Zouk feel, and if you know about Zouk music, it's Angolan, Congolese sort of vibe. And so I kind of class it as lovers music, but it has that vibe to it. But it's really wavy. You can do the mini rock to it. You can, do your thing and stuff. So
I need to listen to this.
No, it's really dope. Like, it just makes you want to relax and chill. So that's something. And another artist, I put 3.5 because I'm extra. Joey B. This guy's talented, hailing from Ghana. A rapper. He's the leader of that new generation of just cool kids. I call him. He's a cool kid. And if I had the chance to, when I do have to get the chance, I am going to get the chance to start my own label distribution. He's definitely an artist that I would sign hands down. He'd be the first artist that I would want to invest in because he's worked so hard. And sometimes you don't always have the resources to be consistent and do all these things, but it'll be cool to get him and just see that international crossover between Ghana and here. So yeah, definitely JB. Top 3.5. 3.5. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I think this is it's really important to say that kind of the whole ethos of the Ubunifu space was to have people like yourselves on our channel and dropping gems, dropping bars, and we're really happy to have you. So thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Una gige be, oh baby.